All right, it's Graham again, and I have some videos I want to share with everyone. And the topic on this today is space, the final frontier. But anyway, we'll start out by watching this 4-minute video, and this video has been made, compiled as news, you could say. It's not a specific news network, but it was made to provide information, legitimate information to the public, and allow them to see what is going on with some of these latest space exploration type endeavors. So anyway, we'll comment after the video, but just sit back and watch this 4 minutes.
Did you know there is a car in space right now? And the question you're probably thinking is, why? Well, the short answer to the question is because Elon Musk wanted it there. Elon Musk is co-founder and CEO of Tesla, which is probably the most well-known electric car company on the planet. And he is also the founder and CEO of SpaceX, the company behind the rocket Falcon Heavy. Falcon Heavy is a partially reusable super heavy lift launch vehicle, or in layman's terms, a reusable space rocket, designed and manufactured by SpaceX, and is now the most powerful rocket in operation. Falcon now provides the United States with a heavy lift space rocket not seen since the 60s. What makes Falcon Heavy so special is the reusable booster rockets that detach in flight, return to Earth, and land safely on landing sites nearby, so they can be reused again for another rocket. This reusable rocket system will cut the cost of spaceflight from billions to tens of millions. The Falcon Heavy launch cost $90 million, while NASA's planned SLS rocket, a comparable system, is expected to cost about $1 billion per flight. SpaceX conducted Falcon Heavy's maiden launch on February 6, 2018, and the rocket carried a Tesla Roadster car as a dummy payload. The cherry red Tesla convertible's only passenger was the dummy driver, which was named Starman. The dummy was wearing the same white spacesuit NASA astronauts will wear for missions to the International Space Station in the next year or so. Secured by a seatbelt, the Starman's right hand is holding the steering wheel, while its left arm is resting on the door, while the dashboard screen reads, "Don't panic," which is a reference from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Some extra accessories were added to this car for its special journey, including a small Hot Wheels Roadster on the dashboard, a plaque bearing SpaceX employees' names, and a circuit board with the words "Made on Earth by Humans" imprinted on it. So why put a car in space? Well, in the tradition of Richard Branson with his cheesy publicity stunts, it was a clever show of cross-promotional marketing, being that both SpaceX and Tesla are owned by Elon Musk. But as this was Falcon Heavy's maiden launch, they did not want to risk an expensive satellite payload. But they needed a payload as a test weight, so Elon decided on using one of his Tesla cars. Once the car was launched into space around Earth, a camera on the car was live streaming orbiting Earth on YouTube until the batteries on the camera ran out. There is now a website called whereisroadster.com tracking its current location, and the website shows the car coming very close to Mars in October 2020. The intention of Elon Musk was to send the car on a constant orbit around the Sun and Mars. Scientists ran hundreds of different simulations of orbital possibilities, and they calculate there's a 6% chance of the Roadster crashing into Earth and a 2.5% chance of it crashing into Venus over the next 3.5 million years. Otherwise, it will just float out there forever, making all aliens who visit Earth scratch their heads and wonder, just how powerful was the engine in that car? Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Elon Musk So that's pretty interesting, amazing stuff, and you take it at face value. So then we have next, we have the, here's something, it's called Something Amazing Every Day from Videos from Space. Let's see what goes on here. Pretty impressive.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. And liftoff at dawn. The dawn of Orion and a new era of American space exploration.
There we go. Actual footage. This isn't, I don't think, unless they have a camera mounted on the nose cone. Beyond where the eye can see. Okay, this is to get you in the mood here. So this is the little Mars capsule, I believe. And again, I don't know a lot about what they have going on in these space explorations currently. But you're thinking maybe this is actual footage, right? And then we switch here to NASA. If this isn't NASA, then maybe it's SpaceX headquarters here. I don't know. Hard to tell. Jet Propulsion. Yeah, it's NASA. Jet Propulsion Laboratories. And they're so excited. Amazing. And I don't know who shot that footage of the rocket landing or the little space pod. Okay, dreams. So, interesting. And then we go over here. And I mentioned I don't know a lot about what they have going on currently in these in the space exploration, SpaceX, Elon Musk's deal, so on and so forth. And I don't think many people do either. But that's the point of making this short video, because it's kind of sneaky. You know, they start these things that are supposed, and we catch them as in our periphery as we go about our daily business, and we assume that this is actually going on. And we think, wow, I mean, right around the corner, there has to be, the flying cars have to be there somewhere, the Jetsons and so on and so forth. And we really have no idea what's going on. So if you take one of these things and just start to look at what they push forth as fact and use some common sense, I'm not going to say one way or the other, but that's what this is for. Because I'm sure there are many people out there that know much more about this than I. But where did they get that information? On the inside or on the outside, just watching a lot of videos, doing a lot of reading, and taking other people's word for what's supposedly going on out there? Because I don't know for sure. We can watch movies and come away from a movie thinking we're a little more educated because of what was in the movie, and the movie has a liaison with NASA, just like we watch movies about war. And it's no secret that the movie studios in Hollywood have closely aligned themselves with intelligence agencies and the military-industrial complex to use real officers, actual, legitimate military employees, and they're able to share technology up to a certain point, I'm sure, but you'd be amazed at how closely they work together. And why would that be, if not to try and exert some? And it's tough to even speak about, because it sort of veers into conspiracy theory territory. And I'm sure anyone that knows the videos that I've put out in the past and what I speak about is within that vein. But that's not what any of them are for, really. They're more, and I think most people that do these things are geared more toward getting people to just stop for a moment and take one of these things, one of these topics, and break it open for a moment and just look at it. So here's a clip from the Martian movie. I never saw The Martian with Matt Damon here and Jessica Chastain, but let's take a look at this scene.
Right. Let's do the math. Our service mission here was supposed to last 31 souls. For redundancy, they sent 68 souls worth of food. That's for 6 people. So for just me, that's going to last 300 souls, which I figure I can stretch to 400 if I ration. So I got to figure out a way to grow 3 years worth of food here.
He's eating all his food
on a planet where nothing grows. Luckily, I'm a botanist.
Oh, man.
Mars will come to feel my botany powers.
Okay, Matt. So that's interesting. And a lot of these movies kind of get you to be predisposed with the idea that we're going to Mars. As a matter of fact, I think most people would agree that we've already been there. And do I know we have or haven't for sure? No, not at all. But that's kind of where they kind of hold that position of being able to make any type of decision to release information in the way of movies, news / information. And we, being the viewing audience, have to discern and decipher that information for ourselves. The problem is most people don't. They take it at face value. And the ones that deliver the information, they know that. That's no secret. So that kind of makes for a foggy recipe that plays to their advantage. But let's watch another one here. Here's the SpaceX Demo 1 mission, Crew Dragon rendezvous and docking, just about a year ago. So now this is legitimate footage, I suppose. Let's see.
You are looking at a live view of the
Live
Dragon
view.
spacecraft as it approaches the International Space Station for a planned docking in just under 2.5 hours from now. That light you can see on your screen is indeed the Dragon 2 spacecraft from a view on the International Space Station.
And to put into perspective just how fast everything's moving, a commercial airplane usually cruises at about 550 miles per hour. Takes about 5 hours to go from LA to New York City. If you were able to fly as fast as Dragon, you could cover that distance in just 8.5 minutes.
Oh,
You
boy.
can actually see what Dragon has been doing over the past 24 hours right now on your screen. Immediately after that Dragon spacecraft separated from the Falcon 9 rocket, it began what we call the activation and rendezvous phase of the mission. During this phase, mission operators configured the vehicle for on-orbit operations, and Dragon executed a series of burns which gradually raised its orbit to align more closely with the ISS. A final co-elliptic burn, which started at about 9:59 p.m. here at local time in Hawthorne, placed Dragon into the same orbital plane of the ISS, about 2.5 kilometers below and 7 kilometers behind, which had then prepared it for its approach and autonomous docking maneuvers.
Now we actually have some views.
These are two scientists? I don't know.
We're going to get those hopefully throughout the webcast today, and we're going to be able to see that hatch open in just a couple of hours from now.
A lot of room there.
Get out, our zero-G indicator looks to have hopped out of its.
Okay, so this guy here, this is actual footage. What's going on here?
This is Mission Control Houston. You are getting a live view of the Dragon spacecraft, now just about 3,000 meters away
Okay.
from the International Space Station. At this time, the International Space Station about to enter into an orbital nighttime, 266 statute miles above the Earth, just south of Australia. Again, about to enter an orbital nighttime. You'll see the views get a little bit darker. At this point, Dragon has completed its approach initiation burn. We are now in integrated operations. A few more milestones to hit. Just under 8 minutes at this point. We're looking for a mid-course burn, an approach initiation mid-course burn to look forward to. Not too long after that, we'll enter into the 1,000 meter or kilometer range from the International Space Station.
All right, let's see here. We get a little closer to where they actually, maybe it's right here.
And the Dragon contains all the active components of that docking system. You can actually see those androgynous petals, those 3 petals that are kind of sticking at 120 degrees apart from each other on the IDA on the left-hand side. In the very middle is actually a visual docking target that the astronauts can use to judge whether or not the Dragon is right on course. It has a little stick that comes off from the center of it. So you can
Okay,
see
so I guess they're
shadows
getting closer now. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Latching pawls will engage and hold the pedals against the opposite ones on the IDA, and contact pins will depress, and we should get a call out for soft capture achieved.
Soft capture achieve.
Hands off point. Copy.
All right, so we're at that crew hands-off point. That means we're about 2 meters away. Crew no longer sending commands, and Dragon doing everything on its own.
Here we go.
Capture confirmed.
Oh, listen to them. They're watching a baseball game downstairs.
You can hear the cheers behind us at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. We have confirmation of a soft capture of the Dragon spacecraft to the International Space Station. You can see in your view the Dragon's still moving around a little bit. That's the soft capture ring is attached to the
All right.
We have 6 arms that are all attached.
Okay, so everybody's excited. They backed up to the ISS, and I'm supposing that the SpaceX and the Dragon are Elon Musk's vessels, and so they aligned and connected to the ISS, the International Space Station. So that's pretty impressive, and I'm guessing that actually took place, but I still have a lot of questions because these are massive corporations, and anyone currently employed by any corporation knows that one of the first things they do, they take you in and you sit down with someone from security or HR, human resources, and you go through the signing of the NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, and there are a lot of things you cannot talk about. So it's easier just to not disclose exactly what it is you do, because for fear of either losing your job or word getting out that you can't keep your mouth shut, and then it becomes more and more difficult to attain employment with another corporation. So for anyone that thinks if it is not all on the up and up, that word might get out, or there's no way that it could not be real because there are too many people that would talk if it weren't, well, that kind of goes out the window. And, you know, it almost sounds childish to be knocking that back and forth. Is it real or is it fake? Because the media loves to make that what it's all about. It's either fake news or it's real news. Either way, it all comes over that electronic piece of glass in your living room. So we should take it at face value as it is only entertainment, or we don't have to, but we can always do our own research. The trouble is nobody really does any of their own research. But there's something else here. And let me see if I can open this up. Yeah, hold on. Let me just pause this for a second, and I'll be right back. Okay, here's 24-year-old Elon Musk. And this is Miles Mathis is the name of this guy and his website. And he has a series of, he's an artist, and a very good artist, and he has a series of essays and whatnot that he's written. He's very thorough. He uses a lot of the websites. Genie, I think, is one, genie.com. I don't know. There are 3 or 4 that he cites within his websites that he mentions within his writings. And you can find him at milesmathis.com. And he writes about, just hundreds of different essays about anything you can imagine. And this one in particular happened to be Elon Musk. So let's see what he has to say. This is published in 2015. Elon Musk is supposed to be worth $13.6 billion. He is supposed to be the CEO of Tesla Motors. He is supposed to be the founder of SpaceX. He is supposed to be the founder of Solar City. He is supposed to be the inventor of Hyperloop. I, for one, don't believe any of it. Elon Musk looks to me like a person totally manufactured by intelligence as the fake human front for all these fake projects. In this way, he is exactly like Mark Zuckerberg, another person I have outed as a probable manufactured entity. Now, when he says manufactured entity, doesn't mean that they're fake. They are real people. It's that their position has been created for them to inhabit. So essentially, they are actors. And it's not difficult to pull that off because we see that every night we turn on television and we watch the news. If most of us do, I don't know. I don't, but whomever you see reading the news is reading, as we all know, from a teleprompter. They haven't done the research. They sit down, they get their makeup placed on their faces, and then they walk into the broadcast booth. They sit down and they read from a teleprompter. That's their job. They're supposed to look like they're knowledgeable and they speak well, and they, if they're lucky, they get their own show that they can host. But anyway, let's get back to this. So that doesn't mean that they are not fake people. They are actual flesh and blood beings, as far as we know. And they appear to be doing what we're told they're doing. But we don't know that for sure. And he says, why do I think that? I think it because Musk's entire Wikipedia page and bio reads like a red flag. It is nothing but transparent BS from top to bottom. We'll start with his family. His mother's maiden name is Haldeman. That is a prominent Jewish name. Elon is also a Jewish name, meaning oak in Hebrew. Kimball, Elon's brother, also has a Jewish name. So why not just admit they are Jewish? I don't know. Maybe they plan on running him for governor of California or something. So let's just go down here a little further. So why don't I buy his marriages? Well, in answer to that, I'll send you pictures of Musk with his wives and girlfriends. Just Google something like Musk with Riley. While any normal heterosexual guy would be getting all the sugar he could from these sweeties, glowing in the perfume, Musk always looks highly uncomfortable. There he is with his hand in his pocket. And he does kind of look uncomfortable. And they're both leaning away from each other like he describes. The girls are often leaning away from him as here, and look at his hand in his pocket, discomfort signs all over the place. Or you can read this 2010 article at Marie Claire, written by his alleged first wife, Justine. You may find it convincing, but I don't. Just look at the lead photo for the article. And this really is sort of freaky looking. It looks very staged. You got the bikes out here lined up, and these 2 other bikes here. And I had no idea that this woman here, he was supposedly married to, she bore him 5 children, 5 boys, I think. Yeah, 5 sons. I draw your attention to the 3 bicycles, 2 bikes. This is to remind us that Musk is supposed to have had 5 sons by this woman. Not only do we not get any photos of the children, which is perhaps understandable, she doesn't mention them once in the article, either by name or in any other way. Mostly she just repeats the story of Musk's rise to fame and fortune, with the occasional plug of her own. Very strange. I would have to say it is the most impersonal article of its kind I have ever read. No, beyond impersonal, it is chilly, almost chilling. It reads like it was put together by a committee and may have been. I say that because if we do a people search on Elon Musk, we find no evidence of these children in the computers. In fact, Intellius doesn't even have an Elon Musk listed in California, only his father, Errol Musk. Instant Checkmate lists an Elon Musk related to Justine, but the only other relation is a Jennifer. Since Justine's middle name is Jay, I assume Jennifer is also her. If these 5 boys have birth certificates, they should be in the computers. They aren't. Okay, I have not read that article, the Marie Claire article that we were just referencing, but most of those articles are put out. They're extremely common, and they're put out for anyone who either has a subscription to those magazines, or they pick it up while they're waiting to catch a train or cab, or looking at it at work or at home. And they know that only people that are interested in what Musk is up to and are predisposed to any of the projects he's working on, any one of his supposed 5 companies, they feel that they're getting a little more of a look, a view into the private life of this person that they like and respect at face value. And why wouldn't you? You want to know more about this person. So that's what these articles are for. Let's see. A lot of this stuff is really interesting, and this guy's thorough. But again, it's just information. It's just something that you can look at, and it's quite a bit more in depth than you're going to get anywhere else. And there are a number of sites like this that you can find and search. So why do I think these companies are fake? We'll start with Musk's links to Mike Griffin. Griffin was head of NASA from 2005 to 2009, but on Musk's page, we learned that Griffin also worked for In-Q-Tel, the venture capital firm of the CIA. That is probably the biggest red flag on the entire page. Curiously, that information has been scrubbed off of Griffin's own page. What exactly is In-Q-Tel? In-Q-Tel invests in high-tech companies for the sole purpose of keeping the Central Intelligence Agency and other intelligence agencies equipped with the latest information technology in support of United States intelligence capability. That is the key to unlocking this whole mystery. So I suggest you read it several times to let that sink in. I suggest that not only did In-Q-Tel invest in all of Musk's companies, it actually created them. And that's similar to what was done at Facebook and Twitter, a number of these social media platforms. And they're created and someone is installed from the very beginning. Or it's someone's brainchild. They need venture capital. And so the intelligence companies fund venture capital, shell companies that step in and with billions, millions, whatever it takes to further this idea. But for that money, they gain, for that cash injection for operating capital, they gain controlling foothold within those companies. Or they are the brainchild of the intelligence agencies, and they just need a front man or woman for public consumption. So here we have, actually the mainstream press has already reported on a small part of these thefts and grafts. See, for example, Matt Taibbi's Rolling Stone reports on the big banks, especially this 2013 report entitled Everything is Rigged. However, even Taibbi has not yet seen that it is only via rigging that the rich are becoming richer. It is also via manufacturing fake companies, fake portfolios, fake projects by which the Treasury can be milked and bilked of billions of dollars of subsidies, grants, and other monies. But as we all know, that the money does not come from the government, quote unquote. It comes from you. Because the government doesn't have money, they have your money. So the government funds whatever it feels like funding. No harm, no foul. You just increase taxes or shift the shells around, and nobody will be any of the wiser. So if you thought my mention of intelligence in paragraph 1 was just conspiracy theory, think again. Musk has admitted to ties to the CIA through Griffin, if nowhere else. You see, before he was hired to head NASA, Griffin was working with Musk on SpaceX, trying to buy old ICBMs, this is funny, from Russia again. Could you ask for a bigger red flag? Griffin and Musk were in Russia in 2002 trying to buy ICBMs. For anyone that doesn't know what that means, it's intercontinental ballistic missiles. We are told one of the Russian engineers spat on Musk, which is about the only thing that makes any sense on the entire page. They could probably see he was a spook baby. Musk also has some parallels to Yuri Milner, the Russian billionaire who we are told is the money for the fundamental physics prize. Like Milner, Musk went to the Wharton School of Business. He also went to the University of Pennsylvania, which has come up in my previous papers. Both Ezra Pound and Noam Chomsky were probably recruited there. But back to SpaceX. The whole project stinks of a con. We are told in 2001, Musk conceptualized Mars Oasis, a project to land a miniature experimental greenhouse on Mars containing food crops growing on Martian regolith. I'm not sure what that is, in an attempt to regain public interest in space exploration. That idea is ridiculous for so many reasons it is hard to know where to start. Food crops on Mars? Remember Matt Damon? Wouldn't the transport costs back to Earth be a little high? Talk about a carbon footprint. Before we start growing food on Mars, shouldn't we hit a few other things first, like, say, getting people there? Who is going to eat that food? And I want to interject here that maybe we should feed the people here on this planet. There are billions of people that don't even have electricity. Maybe not billions, millions, though, absolutely millions that don't have electricity or proper plumbing. So maybe that money could be better spent here first. So here we go. I guess they can feed it to the ground squirrels we have seen in NASA's fake picture from Mars, except that those ground squirrels are already eating pretty well, it seems, since we have also seen their candy wrappers on the ground. Also, who is going to water those plants on Mars? Maybe this lady. It's interesting. Actually, it wasn't any of the Mars anomaly photos that convinced me the Mars missions were faked. It was watching this NASA press conference for the Curiosity lander. I recommend you watch it. I watched that thing, and it is really interesting. And so what I'm going to do here, I think, is I'm going to, because I'd like to boot that up, but I don't have it here right now. And maybe I'll make a part 2 for anybody that's interested. I know this stuff is pretty boring, but you know, it all starts in one of these spokes of theater that they have out there, and then it becomes a house of cards. And maybe you don't agree. You know, that could be too, and that's all right. But if I were you, I would still do a little research to, you know, go down your own rabbit hole, because they're out there. So we'll finish here. Just ask yourself if these guys seem like real scientists, and this is that NASA press conference, but I will find that, and we'll go through that, and we'll finish the rest of this Musk exploration here. Notice that they are unable to answer any substantive questions from the audience. Only after you have watched these NASA guys should you return to the anomaly photos. Once you do, your mind will be in a more receptive state, and you will start to see what is there. And that's very telling, it's interesting, and it's very true. So we'll stop right here, and I will be back. All right. Thank you.